Simon, as a Wrexham fan growing up, what was it like to sign for the team as a player?
I grew up supporting Wrexham. I was 12, I think, when I first signed for Wrexham. I was playing county for Flintshire, I think it was, and I got recognised then. And then it was 12 years old, I went to play for Wrexham, just as they were starting to get good,
And you made it through the ranks and you played for the first team as well?
I started off at 12 and I went all the way through. I got offered a scholarship when I left school, so I'd done a 3-year scholarship. And then I think it was my first year into my scholarship, I made my debut. I think I was 16, nearly 17. And then 17, I made my first full start. 18, I scored my first goal. And then after the 3 years, I got a pro contract there. So I had a good three-year scholarship.
And what highlights as far as individual games stand out for you? I guess your first goal, your debut, but any others in particular?
I think the debut was the one. I come through supporting Wrexham. Obviously I come through all their academies, so I think that's the main one. When you're coming through, you always want to play for the first team, and I managed to do it quite early on in my scholarship. And once you do play for that team, you want to just push on. And I went on to make close to 150 appearances, so that was, but out of all of them, I'd say that was my best one.
And then from Wrexham you played also for Barrow.
I was coming to my end of my contract at Wrexham, and then obviously the manager at the time of Barrow was Dave Bayliss, and I used to play with him at Wrexham. He was a centre half there, and he phoned me up and said would I be interested in going up. I previously got injured. I dislocated my elbow, so I wasn't playing for Wrexham at the time. I was out for about 4 months. So then when I come back, I wasn't playing. He gave me a call and said would I be interested, so I said yes, and then I signed with them until the end of the season. So I went up there at January, and they managed to stay up. Done really well for them, and then didn't get offered a contract at Wrexham, but Barrow had already offered me and said they were willing to take me at the end of the season, so I signed 2 years there.
And then you were back closer to home with the New Saints, to be precise.
Yeah, it was coming to the end of my contract at Barrow, and I had a phone call off Carl Darlington saying would I be interested. Obviously I said yes. I was still speaking to other clubs at the time. I was quite close to signing for Airbus. They'd phoned me up, they showed interest, and I always knew I wanted to come back down, with the travelling, and Barrow I had a family, so I was quite close to signing for Airbus. I agreed all the terms, and then obviously TNS come in, so I come down, I met Mike and I met everyone down here, and then they offered me a contract, and I was happy with it, so I ended up staying here. Well, originally it was 4 years. They offered me a 4-year contract to stay, so that's how I ended up signing.
And would you have imagined, looking back, that that's where you would see out your playing career?
I did really, yeah. I think at Wrexham, I always wanted to stay there, but unfortunately I didn't. At Barrow, some of the best times I've had. We played at Wembley with them. We won the FA Trophy. So great bunch of lads, and Dave Bayliss and Shez, the managers there. They were great with me as well. They looked after me, so it was great credit to them as well. I enjoyed myself with the lads that were there. But I always knew I wanted to come back, and then when I come to TNS, I never had interest of going anywhere else once I come in and settle down, and I enjoyed my time here. So.
And when you came to Park Hall, it was a club that was already doing very well, but in your time here, the club moved on and achieved some fantastic things.
Yeah, I come the year before they lost the league, so Bangor won the league, and then I come the year later. I think my first year, we beat Bangor 5, I think it was 5-0 at home on the last game of the season. So that was my first league title, and then from then I think we just pushed on, and some of the teams we've had over the years have been absolutely fantastic. Some of the best teams that I think the Welsh Premier have ever seen, and we went on to win it 8 years on the bounce. And when we were under Craig, and we done the treble, then we done the treble the year after, and we were close to doing it the year after as well. Obviously we went on the world record run as well, so I've had some good times here. I've played in some good teams.
As you mentioned, trebles, doubles, numerous trophies that you've picked up while with the New Saints. Your mantelpiece at home must be quite busy with silverware.
Yeah, I've got a few from, obviously in my time I've had a few like before I come to TNS as well. So, but not as many as obviously when I've come here, the teams that we've had and the runs, some of the medals that I've won here, you know, stand out for me as well. The Welsh Cup, we played at Wrexham when we played against ABBA. We were 2-0 down, and then we come back to win that one. That was probably one of the best Welsh Cup runs that we went on to win that one. And then some of the league titles, obviously we went a few times where we only lost maybe one game in the season. So I've had some good, really good medals here. Some good league ones, some cup ones as well. So yeah, I've got a mixture of everything.
And not just medals, but also memories as well. As you look back over your time with TNS, any particular memories that stand out for you on a personal level?
See, the main thing for me is it's not so much the games. I think the main thing that I enjoy the most is the day-to-day stuff. You know, the training with the lads, you come in and you're together all the time, and you know, it's not that serious. You can have that little bit of a laugh and a joke, and then when the training starts, then it becomes serious. But I think that's the main thing for me. It's not so much the games, it's the day-to-day stuff when you're with all the lads. I think that'll be the main thing that I'll miss the most.
And you managed to maintain your position in the starting lineup consistently during that time. That must be something that you look back with on a personal level again in terms of your fitness and application with pride.
Yeah, I was 10 years I was here, and it was only the last year, maybe 2 towards the end, that I started picking up a few little injuries. But before that, yeah, I had a good run really, where, you know, we had people coming in to challenge me, but they never really got close. I think one of the main things that stands out for me when obviously playing in a team with me and against me is the fitness work. I enjoy the fitness side of it. So, you know, the running up and down never really bothered me. I can do that, you know, for most of the games. So I think that was always helped me, and I always managed to look after myself.
And as you say, players came in, as they do indeed for all players, to challenge them. How do you feel as individuals when, for example, you're a right back and there's a new signing and he's a right back, and you know that his one aim is to replace you, but your aim, of course, is to keep the position? How do you handle that sort of pressure as a player?
I think that's just part of football. I think you're always going to get people that are going to come and try and take your place, and it's down to you to keep them out. If they bring someone in that's better than you, then obviously you're doing something wrong, or you need to improve on it. And you know, when I was at my prime around here, I don't think there was anyone that come close to actually keeping me out. So I was quite lucky, and you know, I didn't pick up many injuries, so there was no real need to look for anyone else to replace me. But I felt fine, and I was playing okay. We were going on runs, we were winning the league. So yeah. So as long as I looked after myself and done the right things, I knew I'd play.
As you say, though, the last couple of seasons or so, you started to pick up a few injuries, took a little bit more time to get back into the swing of things. Was it that period that you began to think to yourself, you could be coming to the end of your playing career?
Yeah, I think it is. When you start picking up little niggles, the way I play it makes it harder. You know, I do like to get forward, so it's up and down, up and down. It is a lot of running, and that's the only way I know how to play. So if they said stay back a little bit, I find that hard. Like, I do want to join in. You do pick up the little niggles. Like I said, I had quite a few last year, and then I'd get over it, and then something else had happened. But I think that's just part of football. I mean, once you get to a certain age, it happens. You know, I felt like, you know, maybe I could have played a little bit longer, but then you don't know if you're going to pick up more injuries or not. So, but yeah, I'm happy with how it's gone and what's happening this season.
And there has been a transition period for you, so that although your playing career has sadly come to an end, you've still been involved in football because you got coaching role with the under-19s.
Yeah, I was doing that alongside when I was playing for the last few years anyway. Me and Simon Smith have took the 19s for a few years now, and I enjoyed that. And once you do get to a certain age and you know it's coming to an end, it's always good to, you know, start looking at what you're going to do after football, because there is, you know, football only lasts so long, and then you have to do work after football. So I always had that in the back of my mind that I always wanted to stay coaching. So I come in here a few years ago, and I was doing it alongside playing, and I've enjoyed it since. And obviously once they told me I wasn't playing no more, then that coaching role become full time, and I'm happy with it. I still get to be involved, so I still help out now and again with the first team, but I'm now full time with the 19s, and I'm still involved in football in some way, and it's something I've always wanted to do, so I'm happy with it.
And when you were still playing and you took your initial step into coaching, was that something that the club approached you with, or did you mention it, or was it perhaps a set of circumstances that just came together naturally?
I've always done coaching. When I first come to TNS, I was actually coaching at Wrexham. I spent 5 years coaching at Wrexham. I started at the 11s, 12s, and then I ended up coaching the 16s at Wrexham for a few years. And then my lad had a little bit of trouble with his leg and he needed an operation, so I stopped to look after him a little bit more. And then once he was better and everything's back fine, I started coaching again. So I approached there and said I wanted to do it, and then that's when I got involved with the 19s and then helping out with the kids at the night time as well. And then so I've been doing that for a few years. But yeah, I've been coaching on and off for a good 8 or 9 years anyway, starting off at Wrexham when I was 24, 25, so it's always something I wanted to do after football.
You've had a very successful career. We've mentioned Wrexham, Barrow, the New Saints, also represented Wales up to under 21 level. How proud a moment was it when you made your first appearance for the national side?
Yeah, that's always a good achievement personally when you do represent your country. I started coming through when I was coming through the youth system, so they do like under 15, 16, so I was always involved in the Welsh setup that way. But I think the main one is when you do get to that 21s and you do get to play with some players that are still playing now that have gone on to have great careers. But yeah, that was always a big highlight when you do represent your country at any level really, but 21s especially when you're so close to going with the first team.
And after the career that you've had on the pitch, how difficult was it emotionally to handle the fact that it was coming to an end?
Yeah, you do have the moments where you think, I think it was the last training session I'd done here, I'd already been told a week before the season finished that I wasn't going to be playing. And then you do that last week in training and you take every moment in. When the last session comes to an end and you walk off and you realise you're not going to be doing it no more. Yeah, that was always a big one to take, but the way I look at it now, I've got a different chapter and my chapter now is coaching. So can I help some of the 19 lads here? Can I help them with their playing career? I mean, last year I think we took 4 on, so we've got like Bradders, Bow, Josh Bailey, Lou Rees, so they've obviously stayed another year, and hopefully they can say, yeah, I've had a part in helping them with their career. So rather than playing now, it's helping others with their setup and giving them advice about what I've done, and hopefully it can help them have a good career as well.
And the first team players are now back in training, looking ahead to the upcoming season. Do you ever have a moment at this present time where you look out on the training pitch and think, I wish that was me? Or have you separated yourself from that, drawn a line under it, and you're totally focused on the new journey?
I don't miss it now because they're doing pre-season and all they're doing is running. So no, but yeah, in a few weeks when they start doing 5-a-sides and the games and stuff and all that come back round, I think I will. Yeah, I think when you're looking out and you see everyone doing all the training stuff, you do miss it. But I know my career's come to an end. I'm happy with everything I've done in football. I've played with some great players. I've had a good career. So looking back on it, I'd say I'm happy. No one wants it to come to an end, but at some point it does. And not many people are fortunate enough to be in the position where I am, where you come straight from football and you go straight into a full-time coaching role at the same club. So on the other hand, I'm grateful. So yeah, at the moment I'm happy, and for me for the future now, it's mainly just 5-a-side with your mates and just enjoy playing the odd nights and stuff like that. So I'm happy with how it's turned out.
And how much of a positive is it that you've made the transition from player to coach, but you've been able to stay at the same club, so you know the setup, you know the people involved, etc.?
Well, that was the conversation that we had when I was told I wasn't getting another playing contract. I was told they wanted me to still be around the club, and that's something that I wanted as well. Obviously Sarge and the new manager have come in. They're obviously the first team. They run everything and if I'm needed with the first team, I'll obviously go in and help. But at the moment, I'm happy 19s, and making that transition to going in with them is perfect for what I wanted anyway. You know, I'm on the courses to do my badges now, so I'm on my A licence. So I'll finish that in a few months, and then who knows what will happen in a few years, and you know where I'll end up. But at this moment in time, I'm happy with the transition of how it's gone from playing to coaching and still being around all the lads, and you know, I'm happy with everything.
And of course, players are very ambitious by the very nature of the game. Now that you're involved with coaching, do you still have in your mind, even if it's only a general plan, where you want to be as the years roll by?
Absolutely, yeah. Everyone should have a plan on what they want to do and where they want to be in a few years. Obviously, at this moment in time, I'm right where I want to be. So I'm doing the 19s, coming in the first team now and again. So, you know, I think after playing, I was only playing a few months ago to go into that step. I think that's good for me. And then in a few years, who knows what will happen? Maybe step up to the first team. Maybe, you know, you never know where it'll take you. Or go somewhere else coaching. But I definitely see myself coaching for the next few years, and I'm excited to see where that goes.
Well, Spence, thank you very much for your time today. The insight into your footballing journey from a young boy at Wrexham right up to the present where you're coaching the under-19s. And I think it's true to say that the word legend is very often overused, but in this case, it certainly is an appropriate one to speak highly of as we talk about you and your career at TNS and beyond.
Thank you.